This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On Air.
Well, hello there, lovely humans. Welcome and thanks for tuning in to the Sleep Lab Stories. I'm Liesl Mitchell, a person with narcolepsy and a fascination with sleep. We all do it, but do we talk about it? Stay tuned as we chat to anyone and everyone about their weird, wonderful, and just plain normal sleep stories. And welcome to you all. Such a treat to be here with you again, and thanks for tuning in. Waking up in the middle of the night, suddenly wide awake. Anyone thinking, yep, that's me? So how many people experience waking up in the middle of the night? Well, if my conversations with complete strangers about sleep are anything to go by, then many people do. And to back up my loose claim of many people, I've also consulted with the sleep research, and yes, in the middle of the night, it is quite common to wake up. Between approximately 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., your temperature often rises, and that can be enough to wake you. For those of you who do track your sleep, you may have also noticed as you go through stages of sleep, you wake a lot during the night. Often something that even goes unnoticed as you sleep, but it's quite normal. So it's not even unusual to wake up at the same time, I discovered. Does anyone else experience this? Because I almost always know the time I'm going to wake up. It's about 1:38 a.m. every night. How strange is that? So particularly as we age, our sleep patterns change, and it is more likely that you will experience this quite normal occurrence or phenomenon of waking up in the middle of the night. So I'll be intrigued to hear any thoughts about this from my guest today. We are lucky to have yet another very excellent human in the storytelling room today. Eric Trump. Hello, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yay. He is sitting here originally from the United States, New York State, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I knew of Eric for a number of years before we met. One of those, I know you don't know me, but I've seen your photos on Facebook for years kind of knowing. He married one of my good friends from uni days, but they were based in the States until COVID when they decided to move with their daughter to New Zealand, and yay, they're still here, which is great. Eric is in one of my favourite businesses, the business of words. He is an editor, published author, and translator. Eric speaks several languages, taught bioethics for a number of years, and has written for publications such as the New York Times, Washington Post, and more recently, The Listener, North and South, and The Spin-Off. He is talented, thoughtful, and observant with a switched-on brain that invites conversations that can wander just about anywhere, such as his knowledge about and curiosity for the deeper things of life, which is why I am really excited to have Eric in the studio and get storytelling with him today. Kia ora. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that generous introduction.
Yay!
And it's also generous to call the business of words a business.
Well, I don't know if it's generous. It's true, isn't it? I don't know.
When I think business, I think money. And words don't generally transform themselves into too much money. But it's still worth it.
It is. It is. It's a really valuable pursuit, occupation, passion. I think words are something that, we may underrate, but hold a lot of value.
Agreed.
Yay. Well, it's lovely to have you here. And before we go any further, I do tend to ask people this question, although I have modified this question, because I realized the question I was asking was, so why have you said yes to me to come and talk about sleep? And people, I realize, have been saying, I said yes because you asked me, Liesl, and I thought it'd be cool to come and talk to you. And I'm like, that's starting to sound a bit like I'm just doing a plug for you're my friend. What I'd really like to know, though, is what's made you interested in sleep to come along, or what's made you interested?
Right. So I think around the time you asked me to come in to talk, I was also writing my own little essay about sleep, because what I do too much of, and I'm trying not to do, is write occasional journalism. So if a day comes along, let's say Valentine's Day, I haven't done this, but let's say I write an essay about Valentine's Day. So the day in question was World Sleep Day, which was on March 13th, which you may know. And I wanted to write something about sleep because I remember the CEO of Netflix one year saying that my greatest enemy is not HBO or Neon, it's sleep. It's the human need for sleep. And if people didn't need to sleep, they would just watch Netflix 24 hours. And so that was my initial spark for being interested in sleep. And what intrigues me partially is we have a contradiction. I think on the one hand, we're told that sleep is the key to everything. It's the final frontier. If you're overweight, if you're depressed, if your relationships you just need more sleep, right? Good food, more sleep, and everything will be okay. But then on the other hand, we have kind of sleep machoism, going into the office and saying, I didn't sleep last night because I was getting the project done. Or you say, like the CEO of Netflix saying, my greatest enemy is sleep. So on the one hand, you shouldn't sleep because life is short. But on the other hand, you really should sleep because that's the key to health. So I'm interested in that. And also the fact that it's a third of our lives and we don't really, as you say, we don't know what it is. And why haven't more... where are the novels and the poems about? There are poems and novels about sleep, but
there are, yeah.
But maybe I haven't done a proper survey. Maybe there's actually a deluge of poetry and novels out there about sleep. But
I think love, death, things like that take more of those spaces. I think sleep gets ignored. I think it's mentioned. The focus, it's not often the focus. Because once you actually say, well, let's get deep on sleep, get a bit stuck. It's like, well, what is it?
Yeah. I found a few, I think I told you I found a few stories, and there's one book in particular called Laziness in the Fertile Valley, which is about a family that refuses to work and refuses to go out and mostly sleeps all day. And it's almost as a kind of act of resistance. So I'm interested in these sleep also as a kind of cultural artifact when it's turned in, because we're human. So we infuse everything with meaning. So in these works, what does sleep mean? So I'm interested in looking at that as well. Wow. But so when you asked me to come on, I thought, that's good luck. It'll get me more interested in this topic.
Cool. Yeah. Well, sounds like you've actually thought about that quite a bit.
Every time I see the word sleep now, my eyes open up wider. So and I get a lot of science journalism emails into my inbox, and anytime I see the word sleep, I dig deeper.
Interesting. And have you seen, do you think you get more of those kind of sleep emails these days? Because I feel like, I don't know if it's just because I'm now looking for everything sleep, but I feel like there's a lot more on sort of out there in the mainstream thinking anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that I think I'm seeing more of it because I'm looking for it.
Yeah,
So
I wonder.
Maybe it was always there.
Yeah, maybe.
But, articles about what actually sleeps in the world other than humans. So I found one article a long scientific article about how coral seems to sleep. Trees droop their leaves and then the leaves perk up again when the sun comes up. So, so what do we call sleep? Is a leaf drooping its leaves and then having them perk up again? Is that actually sleep, or is that something else?
Good question.
So when we say that that's sleeping, that over there is sleeping, is it actually sleeping? And the different ways animals sleep, the way sperm whales, they turn into columns and float in the ocean.
Yeah, I saw a photo of that. I was like, yeah, of course, right.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
My favorite is the elephant seal because it uses its whole brain to fall asleep, unlike a dolphin that uses it's frozen at half. So the entire brain goes to sleep, and it's on top of the ocean, and in a falling leaf pattern, it spirals down to about 1,200 feet and sleeps there for about 20 minutes, wakes up, and then comes back up again.
Wow.
And it's literally, falling to sleep. So.
That's actually beautiful. That I could just see that set to music, kind of just watching that happen.
Yeah, sea of dreams. It just works, right?
It does. It totally does. Oh, wow. You've taken us on a journey already. That's gorgeous. Yeah, I love reading about other animals sleeping. And I was just thinking about, you're talking about the trees. Like, well, then I want to ask, are trees dreaming? Like, I mean, it just goes into this whole space of like, what do we even call this altered consciousness? Do trees have a consciousness? Well, maybe we're going a little bit. But
it forces us to ask those questions.
Yes.
What is consciousness and what is sleep? And I was before we began this, I was telling you about epic dreaming, which some people... So epic dreaming is when you have long, involved narrative dreams and you wake up exhausted, primarily because of your dreams. And the article, it's in Science magazine. The final question is it forces us to ask, what is reality? If our dreams, if the epic dreaming seems epic sleeping, the dreams are more real or as real as what wakefulness is, then what is reality is the question. It sounds a bit pretentious, but
no,
these questions do come up.
It's very valid, and I think as somebody who goes in and out of REM sleep and wakefulness quite frequently during the day, and I will find if I have a nap, I go straight to REM sleep. So I might nap for 15 minutes, but I'll wake up having just had a massive epic dream sort of session, and I'll wake up thinking, but I've been really busy in this other world, like doing all these other things, thinking that was what was really happening. I wake up and I go, that wasn't real, or that wasn't my life. Or is it? Because it's very real while I'm there.
Right. So sleep is sort of with you all day. It's like your secret sharer almost. It just taps on you and then you're out for a little bit. And
it's there ready all the time. It doesn't even tap. It just says, anytime, Liesl, just close your eyes.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yep. So it's definitely, it's present, very present, which makes me wonder how present it is. The line is very, I guess, it's a funny line between wakefulness and sleeping. And with narcolepsy, it's very, what's the word? Kind of, I'm going for a word that says kind of, it's very easy to permeate between the two. Like it's just...
porous.
Porous. I'm going to go with porous. Thank you, wordsmith. And I need a wordsmith sometimes.
You can hire me.
I may, yes. I need a wordsmith. But that sort of thing about how easy it is to flick between the two. But then in somebody that doesn't have narcolepsy, how close is it really? I mean, it's sort of still, is there that bridge to sleep that's actually quite available to us, but it's just blocked by better kind of like chemicals in the brain that I don't have?
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And is daydreaming sort of part of a version of going into that sleeping state, but there's still... Yeah, I don't know. It fascinates me.
So some sort of twilight state, yeah.
Twilight, yes. I think there's a twilight zone that has not really been explored.
That's an interesting idea, though. That if we all had access the way you do to sleep, what would that mean for us?
We'd be a lot slower.
Yeah, I know. I'm told snails can sleep. They're not quite awake for sometimes up to 3 years.
Yeah, I just had that information come to me recently too.
Yeah. So when you're looking for it, it comes.
It's there. Yeah. I thought, well, what's the value of that for snails, and what do they do during that time? Is it a regeneration? Yeah. I mean, now I want to talk to snails.
Yeah.
Yep.
If only we could.
Oh my gosh. They've got the time for it. I think we could do it. Yeah.
Yes, we just have to get them in here and get them in a jar. Maybe if we get enough, we can actually hear their voices. Maybe.
Or just put them in front of the microphone and then we'd hear them.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone would tune in for my sleep stories with snails, but they might.
They might have voices like mine. Soporific.
See, I knew this would happen. I knew we'd have deep, fascinating, good stuff. And I'm just thinking, before we go any deeper, and I'd love to hear your comments on some of these cards, the magic cards.
Definitely.
Before we do that, we're just going to hear a quick word from the wonderful Grid who make this podcast possible. Thank you, wonderful Grid.
Need a caffeine hit? Head to Grid Coffee Roasters, right in the heart of Mornington. Whether you're looking for a delicious flat white, refreshing peppermint tea, a last-minute gift, or some freshly roasted coffee beans, we have you covered. See you soon at 172 Eglinton Road. Follow us on Facebook at Grid Coffee Roasters.
And as always, thanks to the Grid, but we're sitting here with Eric Trump talking sleep and words and snails.
And snails.
Is where we got to. And I'm going to encourage Eric to take a card and see what...
I'm taking the white card on top.
Okay. What does it say?
How do you feel about the dark? How do I feel about the dark? I think that's a great question. I am a fan of the dark. I think I'm probably in love with the dark. In the mornings, I try not to turn on the lights. If I have to use a light, it's probably in another room. So I just get the indirect light from another light from another room. I also am in love with the twilight hours of the day, whether it's dawn or dusk. That kind of low-level glancing light that comes across and turns things golden and hazy. Yeah. I also, the moon, the stars. I like walking at night. My dream is actually in New Zealand to go night tramping somewhere. The Tongariro Crossing, someplace without a lot of roots and rocks, and use the full moon to traverse some landscape. I think I was probably as a boy terrified of the dark, especially after seeing, of all things, Jaws. I was young, and when Jaws came out, I think I was 6 years old, and for some reason I looked out the window. I think other people must have done this. I can't be alone. I looked out the window and I thought it wasn't dark air I saw, but dark water, and surely there would be a fin coming up to my window. So Jaws, Steven Spielberg, what were our parents thinking?
It was terrifying as a young person. Yeah. Yes, I think, It just sort of, Jaws swam into young kids' imaginations and did not leave for a very long time.
It's, the shark is still there.
The shark is still there.
I often turn to sharks for metaphors just because I think it's because of Jaws.
Right.
But what our parents back in the 70s thought was an appropriate movie.
For kids, we'll just take you to Jaws.
And my father took me to Deliverance. I don't know if you know that. Deliverance.
Is that Cliff?
That's Burt
Clint,
Reynolds.
No,
it's Burt Reynolds.
Yes.
He goes kayaking or canoeing in the forest, and some locals capture two of his boys and do just rape them, basically. So, and that's what I saw when I was 4.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So, and my father thought that would be a great Saturday night.
Right. Yeah. Parents, hey?
Parents in the 70s.
Different eras.
Yep.
Right. Well, I'm intrigued by what the darkness brought out, but I'm also, I love that as an adult, you are in love with the dark.
Yeah. It's also, I think, sensitive eyes. I think, I definitely prefer low lighting, half light.
Good for sleep too. Yeah,
Indeed.
Well, good for setting up for sleep
Indeed.
too. Yeah. Right, I'm going to encourage you to keep going.
Keep going, all right.
Yeah.
Look, these are great. Memorable myths or legends about sleep. There are a lot, aren't there?
Yes, but it's one of those things that if it's not top of mind, I can understand that might not be.
The only one that comes as the top of mind is Rip Van Winkle, who he's the Catskill boy. This is, I think, who wrote it? The one who wrote Legend of Sleepy Hollow, I think, wrote Rip Van Winkle. And I don't remember his name, sorry. This is age coming through. But Rip Van Winkle goes on a walk in the Catskills, falls asleep for 20 years, and then wakes up in a completely changed world. The Civil War may have happened, I'm not sure, but it's definitely a story in which sleep is the key event.
Right. And then he has no memory, he has no understanding to start with that he's been asleep for all of that time.
Right,
Yeah.
Except his long beard.
That's right, the beard.
The beard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's that one. I think what might count as a legend these days is maybe a big book by James Joyce called Finnegan's Wake. Ulysses was the day book, daytime, and then Finnegan's Wake is the nighttime, and it's pretty much his own sleep language. Very hard going to read. I took a class and we read it out loud. I can't say I understood even half of it, but I think at this point Finnegan's Wake would count as a sleep legend. He has lines about sleep. So the one line that I remember is sleep. It goes, sleep, where in the waste is the wisdom? So throughout the book, you're reminded that if you think this is confusing, it's because we're in the unconscious of a few characters' minds, and that's why the language is the way it is.
Wow. Oh, so, creativity
Finnegan's
through
Wake.
sleep. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also one of those books that it begins, the sentence begins where the final sentence ends and then goes right into the first sentence. So it's a circular sort of eddy of language, and it's 800 pages long. And it is kind of mythic at this point, I would say.
Yeah, no, I think that counts. It sounds like it ticks a lot of the myth, legend, epic journey kind of a, yeah.
Yeah, it's full of myth and legend as well. It's a big book of sleep. And it'll put you to sleep too, probably.
Yeah, it sounds like it could.
Yeah. Shall I give another go?
Yeah, go on.
Let's see.
Yeah, we'll just keep it flowing.
Yes, let's do that. How does stress affect your sleep? I can answer that easily. Stress ruins my sleep, destroys it. I would also say I love my cats, but they are doing quite a job on my sleep. I'm very tired right now because of the sleep I had last night, owing to feline interruption.
Feline interruption. Right. So do the cats sleep in the bed or
on top of the bed?
Right.
And they're still young, but they're actually, for cats, they're amazing. They do fall asleep, but they tend to fall asleep on top of me.
Right.
So
you're the cat magnet.
The blanket that's on top of me is the cat magnet. So it's, and at this point I love them so much. I could lock them out, but I don't want to because I think it would be mean. But yeah, we have to come to some sort of understanding about how this is all going to work.
Yes. And mean for who?
Right.
Do they really
I don't
think
know.
that's mean?
I don't know. Yeah,
They're
maybe
cats.
not. They're cats.
Yeah, I'm harsh about this.
Yeah.
I
Well, yeah, sleep is
sleep's
important.
really important. Yeah, and cats are, nocturnally driven. They quite like getting up for a bit of a run around in the middle of the night, and that's not historically that helpful if you're trying to sleep.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
But they're probably adorable.
They are, and that's what does it.
Damn it. Adorable is not easy.
But stress does do a lot to my sleep. Should I keep going?
I'm all ears.
No, I remember I had a kidney transplant, and before my transplant, I was not on dialysis, which meant I had a lot of pollution in my blood. A lot of the way they described it was my blood values are deranged. So way too much potassium, not enough calcium. Creatinine was really high. Iron was sinking fast. So really all over the place. And this somehow produced really vivid dreams as well, I would say. So I think, so I'm wondering, I've only talked to one doctor about this who said, yeah, it's possible, but anything is possible. So I'd like to know more about the effect of, I'll just call it polluted blood on the unconscious, because also during the day I would have similar moments in which I felt as though I were floating or I wasn't quite inside my own body, and so
quite an altered state.
Yeah.
Well, that would make sense if the chemicals or the sort of balance in your blood wasn't normal, so to speak, or altered in some way, then not surprisingly you would have an altered experience. Yeah. Wow, fascinating. Might be something worth looking into.
I think so. I think
we've got time. Have we?
Do we?
I don't know. Read the card and let's see.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Let's see.
Describe your ideal night's sleep. Okay.
We'll make it short and snappy.
I will. My ideal
this.
night's sleep, hotel room by myself, the curtains drawn. If it's hot outside, air conditioning on. If not, the heat is on, maybe. It's just a dark box with a bed in it, and I'm in the bed.
That does sound quite lovely. It does sound like sleep. No cats.
No cats. I do sleep best on my own these days, I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, no,
But sleeping
don't be
with,
sorry.
being in bed with my partner, Josie, is worth it.
Yeah, I think quite a few people do, make that kind of allowance, don't they, for a wonderful human. But we do sleep better alone, I think, often. Not everyone. That's not necessarily across the board, but yeah.
No, she's amazing, and I wouldn't, I'd rather have her in the bed than not, so.
Yeah, you're not going to, I was just going to say like the cats. Love the cats too.
Exactly,
but then I'm like, no, slightly different level.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, Eric, I'm going to have to wrap it up, but thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
So cool to hear your thoughts on sleep, and there's obviously more, so we'll have to do it again.
I would love to.
Yeah, great. And anyone who's interested in finding out a bit more about Eric or his writing, Eric has a website.
Right. It's erictrumptranslator.com. All one word, erictrumptranslator.com.
There we go. So if you're interested, go check him out. And otherwise, that's it from this place, from this time, and we'll see you soon from the Sleep Lab Stories. Farewell. The views, opinions and stories expressed in the Sleep Lab Stories aim to stimulate personal reflection and awareness and should not be taken as medical advice. Thanks for listening to The Sleep Lab Stories. Big shout out to Grid Roasters, generous sponsors of this podcast and makers of great coffee. To the awesome OAR FM, thank you for making it all happen. Like and follow The Sleep Lab Stories at oar.org.nz and at all your fave podcast platforms. You can find me and the latest sleep info at thesleeplab.nz. Take care, sleep well, and catch you next time.
This podcast was produced by OAR FM Dunedin with support from New Zealand On the Air.